Hey, this is Sri here. In today's video, I'm going to talk you through 5 empowering steps that you need to be taking when you're going through the process of divorce with your husband. Now, before we dive in, I just want to let you know that I'm opening up a few spots for my Authentic Relationship System training program, which is an amazing program geared towards helping women to be able to not only save their marriage, but become the very best versions of themselves. And even if you are in the process of going through a divorce or separation, this program is incredible for being able to create some massive transformations within yourself so that you can go through the transition in the best and most empowering way possible. So make sure you stick around to the very end so you can get all the details on how you can be a part of this program. And make sure you hit the subscribe button below and click the bell notification button so that every week you'll receive notifications about all of my latest videos teaching you specifically about how you can go about saving your marriage or just improving it where it is right now, and really taking your own level of growth to that next level as well. You know, going through a divorce is one of the most painful things in life. You know, if you've been married for 5, 10, 20 years, you know, you've created this life together with this person, and then to suddenly have that turn upside down is not only extremely frightening in terms of the life that you're living and whether you feel like you're going to be okay and all of that stuff, but also the emotional ties and connections that you've had with that particular person. You know, it brings up a whole heap of memories. You're thinking about all the good times, potentially some of the bad times as well. But overall, that emotional attachment that we have to that person and also the life that we're living makes it extremely difficult to go through. And that's why in today's video, I wanted to talk you through 5 empowering steps that I really want you to take so that you can manage yourself through this process in the most beautiful and classy and empowering way that you possibly can, because it is a really difficult time, and especially when our emotions are heightened, it just makes things a lot more difficult. So I'm going to talk you through 5 important steps now in which you can manage this divorce process in the best possible way. Now, the first step that you want to be taking is to make sure that you have a firm and fixed timeline about when you're actually going to go through this process and when you're actually going to close things out. You know, one of the things I've seen a lot over the years in my work is how two people will often go back and forward so much with, you know, legal documentation and all of that stuff, and it just drags out the process. Or they're making decisions about whether they want to leave or not. One person immediately says that they want to, and then they turn things around and they start to feel that, you know, that horrible feeling of loss, and so they want to make an effort, and then they give it a little bit of a go, and then it doesn't work out again, and things just drag on for a long period of time. And so you really want to make sure that if you're clear in your own mind that this isn't the right relationship for your marriage, you need to make sure that you set a fixed timeline and you follow through on that as best as you possibly can. You know, it's an emotional time, so it's not a case of beating yourself up if you don't necessarily stick to that timeline, but make sure you have an idea of what that timeline needs to be, because vacillating back and forth, as I said, is just something that just makes it really, really difficult for you and only extends out the pain for both of you, not just for you, but for both of you. And we don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that if you're going through the divorce or separation process, that, you know, you guys are still able to maintain an amicable relationship, especially if you've got children involved, because you want to make sure that both of you, you know, are still able to discuss matters about the kids in an amicable way rather than kind of going hammer and tong at each other. So you really want to make sure that you're kind of setting a firm timeline as best as you can and really sticking to that so you can go through the transitional process in the quickest and least painful way that you possibly can. The second empowering step that you need to take is to take a look at the overall marriage and ask yourself, what has your partner given you and what have you given them? And by doing that, it allows you to step into gratitude. See, naturally, when you're in the process of a separation or divorce, you know, you're wanting to think about all the bad things that that person has done, or potentially even beating yourself up. And all that does is create more negativity inside of you, and then that's going to result in you making decisions that aren't going to be for the highest good, and also influencing that person in a negative way as well, and then they'll start to attack you. And we want to try and make sure we drop all the weapons. We want to focus on love. We want to focus on gratitude. And the more that we allow ourselves to focus on that, it's going to allow us to get through this process in the best possible way. So think about, what are some of the positive experiences that you've had with that person? What have they actually taught you? How have they helped you to grow? How have you helped them to grow as well? And by looking at all of those things and looking at it from such a beautiful and positive perspective, it's going to allow yourself to make sure that not only are you making the best decisions for the future, but also it raises your vibration. If you're familiar with some of the spiritual concepts that I teach, I really believe that when we're in a positive state, we raise our vibration as an individual. And when we raise our vibration, we tend to manifest some beautiful things into our lives. Or we start to impact our partners in a beautiful way so that they start to treat us with the respect and the love and the admiration that we deserve as well. So very, very important to really lift your vibration by ensuring that you're focusing on how have you grown, how have they helped you to grow, and how have you helped them to grow as well. The third empowering step that you need to take is to ask yourself, what's the higher meaning by which I'm having to go through this experience right now? What's the higher meaning? Why has this come into my life? Now, one of the things that I find really fascinating is, I speak to a lot of women regularly throughout the week in my practice. And often I see that, these women may have been married for, a long time, 15, 20, 25, sometimes over 30 years. And the challenges that they've had in their relationships have not just been just now, but they've been challenges that have been going on for a long, long time. And, they've found themselves becoming a fraction of the person that they have been in the past. They're finding themselves, being critical of themselves, having low self-esteem, self-worth, really just lacking that overall self-love. And it breaks my heart. And what happens is over this long period of time, because it chips away and chips away and chips away, and often when it gets to that breaking point, that's where the questions start to run right in your mind. Is this the right marriage for me? I need to do something about this. How can I get him to change? And so on. But often the higher meaning with this whole process is how you can create healing and growth within yourself. But each person has a higher meaning. Why is it that the universe or God or whoever it is that you subscribe to has given you this experience? How is this helping to raise your worth and raise your levels of love within yourself? What's the higher meaning behind this experience? You want to really ask yourself what that is. Because as you do that, you associate that positive meaning, and then rather than looking at it from I'm losing everything in my marriage and my family and so forth, you start to recognize that there is a bigger picture at play. And when we're focused on our own pain, it makes it very difficult to get out of. But if we find a bigger reason within this experience that we're having, then we're able to create meaning behind it and then be able to push through and know that this is actually serving yourself and others for their highest good as well. So really take the time to ask yourself, what's the higher meaning behind this experience that you're going through? Now, just quickly in the comments section below, I just want you to write down the answer to this question. What's the single biggest challenge that you're having right now when it comes to going through the divorce process, and in particular, the impact that it's having on you right now, mentally and emotionally? If you just want to write down the answers to those questions, then I'll reply to you personally as well. Now, the fourth empowering step that you need to be taking is to connect in with the love and the courage inside of you. I've seen women in the most difficult circumstances going around come out of those difficult challenges and flourish, to become incredible businesswomen, to find true love and true happiness inside of themselves, to connect in with a higher purpose and a higher meaning in their lives. It is incredible that during the most difficult times in our lives, that's when we truly connect in with our spirit. And I'm here to tell you that you have more courage and more love and more strength than you probably even know. So I really want you to spend that time really filling your own self up. Make sure that you're connecting in with the love inside of you. Spend time with those who bring you joy. Do more of the things that bring you joy and empower you and uplift you. Because when you do more of those things, it really, really can help to reclaim your self-worth, your self-confidence, and your self-esteem. And then as you go through this process, you're going to have a strength of spirit that's going to allow you to move through it, to overcome it, and to truly heal from it as well. You are absolutely going to be okay. Now, you have to make sure that you're taking the right steps and doing the right things for yourself. And that can be a little bit complicated and a little bit challenging from time to time. And that's why I've got my program. So make sure you stick around to the end and I'll give you all the details on how you can work with me and be part of this amazing program. But make sure if you don't, that you really focus on your own growth and continue to elevate yourself, because I promise you that doing that will allow you to create the inner healing inside of you and really create the transformation that you need for your own long-term future. And the fifth empowering step to take, and this is probably not something that you need to do in the short term, but more in the long term, is you want to focus on, once you've gone through the healing process, what sort of future partners do you actually want to have? Because often when we actually look at our previous marriage or relationship, it allows us to really sort of connect in and think about, okay, what went well, what didn't go well, what were some of the difficulties, how did I show up in the relationship or marriage, how did they show up, and so on. And by really understanding all the different facets of it and what you truly want and what you don't want, it allows you to get clear on those things so that you can make sure that when it comes down to actually connecting with another person at some stage, you know what to look out for. You know what the warning signs are. You know what those red flags are, and you can catch them early before they allow themselves to fester into the relationship. But the beautiful thing is by building those foundations we've talked about in the first 4 steps, it allows you to build a sense of trust and courage in yourself so that you truly have faith in the decisions that you're going to make in the long run. That to me is the most important thing, is really connecting in with the trust and the faith inside of you, because often when people are going through this process, they find it really difficult to have any trust or faith in themselves. And so what you're doing is you're building a really rock solid foundation. And I promise that as you go through a process of personal growth, you're going to be clear about what is it that you want, what is it you don't want, and what are your deal breakers. And when you get clear on that, it allows you to move forward with confidence and trust and faith in yourself. Now, going through a relationship breakup or separation or divorce is one of the most difficult things possible, and especially for you internally. And we have to create that inner healing inside. So for that reason, I've got a program called the Authentic Relationship System Training, which is there to help you to build the most beautiful relationship with yourself, where you're able to create shifts within you to be able to really awaken your goddess within, to be able to reclaim your self-worth, your self-confidence, your self-esteem, and your self-love. It's a beautiful program. You'll absolutely love it, and you'll love the community and the people that are going through it at the moment, because they're going through some really difficult times, and we work really, really closely to be able to empower you and to create the best version of you, because I promise when you do that, you're going to be able to make the best decisions for your future. Now, my program is not for everyone. I like to make sure that you're going to be a good fit to not only work with, but also for the community as well. So all you need to do to see if you're a good fit is just click on the link below, which is in the description section, which is book a call with me. You just need to choose a time that works with you, fill out the short application form, and then what I'll do is I'll call you at the scheduled time, and we'll just see if this is the right fit for you. There's no pressure whatsoever. I just want to understand where you are now, where you want to get to, and how we can bridge that gap in the shortest possible time. So I'm really looking forward to speaking to you. Just make sure you click on that link below and schedule a time, and I'll personally contact you. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, make sure you hit the like button below. If you want to get more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you want to learn whether separation is good for a marriage that's on the brink of a divorce, click on the video above. And if you want to learn how to balance masculine and feminine energies in a marriage, click this video above. Thank you so much, and I look forward to talking to you in the next video.